Hey everyone, I'm Stefanie Mullen from RampantDesignTools.com, and today I'm going to show you how to use the transitions found in Rampant Style Kits in Premiere Pro. Now, if you're not familiar with Rampant Style Kits, head on over to RampantStyleKits.com and check out all the amazing packs that Rampant has put together for your video needs. Everything from emojis all the way to business kits, Rampant has your video style needs covered, and it's super easy to use them, and I'm going to show you how. And like I mentioned at the beginning, this is all about how to use the transitions from the style kits in Premiere Pro, so let's jump over to Premiere and get started. Now I want to first start by saying Rampant Style Kit effects are .mov files, so you will be importing them just like any other video file. You can go up here to File, Import this way, you can right click, Import this way, or if you're like me, you can simply highlight them all and drag them in and bring them into your project. Either way, it doesn't matter, just get your files inside of Premiere and you're ready to start. Now before we begin, I want to point out the different transitions that come in the style kits. One you will find, if I zoom in here, one you will find is a light transition, so something that looks like this. And another one you will find is a matte transition, which is a black and white animation that looks something like this. Here's another one. This is a matte transition. Just like that. And then here's another matte transition, and then here's another light transition. Okay. Each of these are used differently, and I'm going to talk about each one separately. And I'm going to first start with the light transitions. So how do we use those? Well, the very first thing we need to do is we need to bring it to our timeline. So grab it, drag it, and drop it in. Now that the light transition is above our footage, we can talk about the different steps for using these transitions. And the very first step is finding the transition point. Before I do anything to the transition, I like to look at it and find out where it covers the screen the most. Okay, you see that? So I like to find the brightest point, and I'm going to highlight my clip and I'm going to press M to make a marker. You'll see the marker go right there. That's the very first step. Now, the very next step we have to do is change the blend mode of this transition. So I'm going to highlight it, go up here to my inspector, change the blend mode from normal to screen. And now you will see that our footage is now being blended with the transition. Now all we have to do is line up our marker here to our edit point, and if we roll that back, you will see instant transition. It looks beautiful. I love that. Now, once you have your position and your clip positioned over your edit in the correct place, there are a few things you can do and you can work with this. The very first thing is you can work with scale, position, and rotation. Now, I'm working in an HD timeline down here. All of my clips are HD, but my effects are 4K, and that gives us a lot of room to play. And just how much room do you have? Well, let me show you exactly. I'm going to click on my effect, my transition. I'm going to zoom out here just a little bit. I'm going to come up here and push position. Do you see this blue box right here? This is how big our file is. It's huge, and I love that because now I can play with the scale, I can reposition it, and I can rotate it. Let's go ahead and try that. So first, let me just put it on a place where we can see the actual effect. Let's try the scale. So we can scale this down and make it look like that and roll that through, which looks great. So if I undo the scale, we can also do a reposition. So maybe I want this to be a little bit higher, my flare at the end. So now if we can rewind that, that's the position. And then we can also work with the rotation. So I can take my flare like this, and I can take my rotation and rotate it up, and then we have a completely different look. Okay, so we have a lot of room to play with the 4K size, and it's amazing. So scale, position, rotation, easy peasy. All right, I'm going to get rid of that rotation. Now the next thing you can work with here is the opacity. Maybe this effect is a little too strong for what you're doing. Maybe it doesn't really work as is. So all you can do, you can work with the opacity. So come over here, make sure you select your effect, come up to your effect controls, and we're going to be working with the opacity right here. The very first thing, make sure you take off this stopwatch right here. This is going to remove the keyframes, and then you can play with the opacity. You can turn it down just a little bit, maybe make it a little bit lighter. And we still have this nice light transition. Now I caution you here, make sure you don't take the opacity down too much because you still want the light to be transitioning from clip 1 to clip 2. So just be careful and be wary of that. But it looks great if you turn down that opacity just a little bit. I love it. Now, one other thing you can do here, and I'm going to take the opacity back up to 100%, is you can work with the color. These are movie files, so we can work with any of the built-in effects that come inside Premiere, and color is one of them. So if I click on my effects panel, and I click over here on video effects, and I open color correction, I can add any of these things to my effect, and I'm going to add a tint to change the color. So here's I added a tint here, and if I wanted to add, like what if I wanted to grab some of this red that's in her shirt and on her lipstick? Well, I can do that. So I put the tint on, come up here to my effect controls and change this down here to more of a red color. Okay. And you will see right there it changed. So if we roll that through, we now have this red flare instead of the orange flare that was there at the beginning. That's wonderful. So there are so many things you can do: scale, position, rotation, opacity, and color. All right. So let's add another light transition to do this one more time. And we're going to add it over here. Let me go back here and grab it. So we're going to take this one right here, grab it, drag it, drop it in. Then we need to find our marker, that our point in here where it's the brightest, and that's about right there. And I'm going to add a marker there. And then I can line that marker up right with my edit point. Come up here, change the blend mode, change it from normal to screen. And now if I roll that through, looks beautiful. Now I can work with the sizing. I can change the scale down a little bit to about right there and roll that back. And that looks beautiful. I love that. But here's one more thing. Did you know that you can add a speed change to these effects? Why not? It's a movie file, so yeah, we can add a speed change. Maybe this flare right here that comes across is a little slow for what my needs are. So let me work with that. I simply come down here to my effect, right click it, change the speed duration. Let's change it to maybe 300%. And what you'll notice is that the marker stays right there, so we can line that marker back up with our edit point right here. And if I zoom in a little more, I'll be able to do it a little better. There we go. And now if we play that through, you'll see it's much faster. Let me pull that out some. So look how much faster that was. So there's fast if I undo it. And here's what it was originally. So there's a lot you can do with these. All right, so we have light transitions down, easy peasy, good to go. Let's move on to our matte transitions. And these are going to be completely different from the light transitions, and I'm going to show you all the steps to get started with these. And we're going to move right down here. And as you can see here, I have 2 clips in my timeline already. I have this couple, and then they're going to be walking. This is a pretty hard edit, so I want to use a matte transition to go from this clip, clip 1, to clip 2. And I'm going to zoom back in to fit this in so you can see a little better. So clip 1 to clip 2. All right. Let's go over here to our matte transition, and I have this really cool snowman transition. Why not? It's winter. Let's add a snowman transition. So we grab it and we drag it. This so far is all the same that we did with the light transitions. All right, now we're going to add a marker. We had to find the point here where our transition covers the frame completely, and I can use my arrow keys right there. I'm going to add a marker. Okay, this marker is going to be really important in just a second. Now I'm going to move this down here so it's not covering my first one. And right now we have this white snowman covering our second clip. Well, what we need to do is we need to mask our video so that the video is showing through in this white part only. Okay, we want video 2 here, the couple walking, to show inside the snowman. Well, how do we do that? We're going to use a track matte, and track matte is step number 3. So all I need to do is come over here to my effects panel, and I need to type in track, and that's pretty much all you have to type in. There's your track matte key. Grab it and drag this to your video footage. Do not drag this to your effect. It has to go onto your video footage, not the effect, video footage. Say it with me. Video footage is where your track matte lives. All right, so we have our track matte here. Now we go up to our effect controls and delete that one. And all we have to do is tell the track matte where the actual matte is living. Right now our matte is living on layer 2. So we check this down from none to video layer 2, and instantly you will see that the couple now is inside the white part of the snowman. So if I rewind this, there we go. So our snowman is masking our couple walking. So far, so good. Now before we move on, I want to point out that this black space that you're seeing right here, all this black space, this just means there's nothing there. We can put anything we want there. You can put a solid color, you can put video, you can put anything you want. Well, we actually want our video 1 to be showing in this black space right here. Well, how do we do that? Well, this is going to be step number 4, and it's overlapping our video clips. So all I need to do is grab my 2 clips that I just created. I'm going to drag them up one layer, and I'm going to move them down. And this is where your marker is going to come in. Oh, by the way, don't freak out when you see that your mask is gone. We're going to change that in just a second. But I want you to pay attention to this marker. This marker needs to line up with the edge of this at the end of the first video clip. So we're going to move it down until it pops into place. If you have snapping on, it'll do it automatically. Having this marker is going to make sure that we have enough video underneath on layer 1 to make sure it covers the entire length of this transition. Okay, so that's what the marker's for. It makes it easy to line it up. Now that we have that done, now we have to add our mask mat, our track mat. So all we do is click on our video 2 layer, go back here, tell the track mat that the new track mat is now on video layer 3, and look at that. Did you see that? So all we did was change the track mat and instantly the mat is back. So now if we roll this back through, instant transition with my snowman, and that's great. And you can actually use this track mat effect with any black and white transition. So if you have anything that you make, anything that's black and white, you can use a track mat and have a transition. All right. I'm going to shrink this up here just a little bit, and we're going to go through this one more time. We're going to go through it a little quicker this time so you can see. So I have these 2 clips. I have a record spinning going to this girl right here. We want to add a cool mat here, and I want to add one of our social mats, which is the Twitter bird. So all I'm going to do is bring it in, drag it in, and drop it. Now it's in there. Now the next step, we have to add our marker. So let's go and find where the white mat covers the frame completely. Add a marker. And then I want to add a track mat. So let's go to Effects. I've already typed in track, so my track mat's already highlighted. So bring that over, drop it on your video layer, not the effect, the video layer. Drop that on. Tell it that the mat is now on video 2. Make sure that our mat is masking, so it is. Perfect. Now we have to position our 2 clips on top of our first clip. So grab them, drag them up, and then we want to move the clips over until the marker lines up with the end of our first clip. And just like that. And now we just have to go back through and tell the track mat that we have a new layer. Video layer 3 is where the mat is. Change it to video layer 3 and you're done. So now if we rewind that, here's the record, and it transitions perfectly to from the Twitter bird to this girl. All right. That's a perfect and easy use of mat transitions. All right. Super, super simple. You guys are going to have a lot of fun with this one. All right, we're going to move on and we're going to do this one last time. And I want to show you how to build this when you have multiple transitions in a row. And I have these wonderful animal clips from a safari in my timeline. And I want to use a mat transition to go from each of these. And we're going to do this all at one time. I'm going to show you how I streamline this to make it a little easier and a little faster when I'm editing. So here are my clips. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my timeline with my video clips before I add my transition. So the very first thing we know is we're going to transition from this clip to my second clip. So video 1 to video 2. They have to be on top of each other because we're going to put our mat transition on top. So video 1, video 2. Now I can take video 3. I'm going to skip a layer because there's going to be a transition here. And then I'm going to skip another layer right here and put the video clip number 4 on top. So now we've set up all of our video layers to add our transition. Okay, everybody with me? All we did was move our video layers. So now I can go over to my project window and grab my mat transition. I like this one right here. Grab it, drag it in. I'm going to put it up here so you can see it. And now we need to find our marker point. That's the first step. So marker point where the white is filling the frames about right there. Press M. Now I can drag this down and I have to match up my marker point to the end of my very first clip, which goes right there. And then I can move my second clip so it matches my edit point. Now all I need to do is hold Option, drag it up, and create another copy of my transition. And I want to move this marker to the end of the second clip. So move it on down. Keep on moving until it clicks. And then I just need to move my third clip so it matches that transition. And then we have so we've transitioned here, and we've transitioned here, and then we need one more transition. So Option, hold down, pull up. We're going to match the end. Remember, we have to match the marker to the end of our clip right here, and then move our video clip down. All right, so far, so good. Everybody's with me. Let's keep moving on. Now we have to add that track mat. And remember, we're adding a track mat to our video layers, not our transition or effect layer. So go to Effects, type in track, it should highlight the track mat key, and you're going to drag it to all of your video layers. Now you don't have to put it on video layer 1 because we don't need a track mat there. So video layer 2, 3, and 4. Now I just have to go here, select my video layer, and then I need to tell it where is that track mat living. Well, it's living on video layer 3. So let's put that on video layer 3. So there we go. There's one. Click on the third piece of video. The track mat is laying on video layer 5. So say video layer 5, instant transform, and then we come back down here. Our little cheetah has his transition on video layer 7, just like that. So now if we roll that back through, voila, we've created these instant animal transitions and it looks beautiful. Let me just play that through one more time because it looks so amazing. So there's transition 1, transition 2, transition 3. That was so easy, and I did that in just a matter of seconds. So we get this question asked a lot. When do I use these transitions? Where do I use them? Well, use them whenever you like. Add a light transition to quickly change scenes, or use a matte transition to add a shape or style to your video. Throw them in and start playing. These transitions can do so many things, so experiment, have fun, and make your video get noticed today. Once again, this is Stefanie Mullen with RampantDesignTools.com. Thanks for watching.